There's a moment in every man's life when he realizes that peace is not given, peace is earned. It's earned through understanding, restraint, and the brutal self-honesty most men avoid their entire lives. The truth is this: no one can trigger you once you understand this one thing. It's not about controlling others, it's about mastering yourself. You're not angry because of what she said, or what your boss did, or what your father never gave you. You're angry because there's something inside you still bleeding, and you never closed the wound. Today, we go deeper than motivational cliches. Today, you learn why true strength is the ability to stay unmoved in a world built to test your limits. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, buried children, fought wars, and still wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This video will give you that strength. 4 chapters, 4 truths. One goal: emotional sovereignty. This is for men who are tired of being manipulated by their emotions and want to reclaim their power with logic, legacy, and inner fire. Like, share, subscribe, and drop a comment if you're ready to live untriggered. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The trigger isn't them, it's you. Every man has been there. Someone says something that cuts deep, and before you can stop yourself, you snap. You raise your voice. You storm off. You give the silent treatment. You let your peace get hijacked like a plane in a storm, and you call it being disrespected. But what if I told you you weren't triggered by them, you were triggered by you? Not the words, not the person, but the meaning you gave to what was said. Most men are not reacting to the present moment. They're reacting to a scar from the past, a father's absence, a girlfriend's betrayal, a childhood wound that never closed. So when someone touches that scar, boom, you explode. And the worst part? You don't even know why. This is where your power begins. Radical responsibility. Not blame, not shame, but the decision to stop making others responsible for your emotions. That's what Marcus Aurelius did. The man ruled the Roman Empire during plague, war, and political betrayal. His own wife may have conspired against him. His best friend plotted his downfall. And yet, he wrote things like, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." You see, the modern man believes emotional control is optional, but in truth it's essential, especially in today's world where people make a sport out of pushing your buttons. Emotional discipline is the new wealth. And it's a discipline. You don't stumble into it, you build it, like a wall around your peace. Take a story from 1942. Viktor Frankl, a Jewish psychiatrist, was sent to Auschwitz. His entire family was murdered. His health collapsed. Yet in the pit of horror, he discovered a truth that echoes through time. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. That freedom is yours, right now. You can be untriggered not because life is easy, but because you've trained your mind to see clearly, to slow down, to ask, what am I really reacting to? Why is this getting to me? Is this a real threat, or just an old wound bleeding again? Emotional reactivity is weakness disguised as strength. Don't be the loudest man in the room, be the calmest. Power isn't noise, power is silence. Power is the man who listens, feels the fire rising, and still says nothing, because he knows he's in control. That's strength, that's sovereignty, that's what men were born for. And here's the hard truth: until you master your triggers, someone else owns your mind. Your peace is for sale to the highest bidder. Take it back, reclaim it. Own your emotions like a warrior owns his sword. Start by sitting with your pain, not numbing it, not running from it, sitting with it like a man. Reflect, write, train, pray, breathe. Mastery starts in the moment you decide, I will no longer be ruled by my reactions. Most men avoid this work for a lifetime. Don't be most men. Walk the harder path. It's the one that leads to freedom. Comment below. What's one trigger you've struggled with, and what do you think it's really rooted in? Chapter 2. When you own nothing, no one can take anything from you. There's a story about Diogenes, the ancient Greek philosopher who lived in poverty by choice. He owned nothing, slept in a barrel, wore rags. And one day, Alexander the Great, conqueror of the known world, stood before him and said, "I am Alexander, the great king." Diogenes looked up and replied, "And I am Diogenes, the dog." Alexander asked, "Is there anything I can give you?" Diogenes smiled. "Yes, step out of my sunlight. That's power, not the kind that rules cities, but the kind that rules the soul, because the man who owns nothing can't be controlled. Most men today live in chains, chained to opinions, chained to validation, chained to their bank accounts, their followers, their titles, and worst of all, chained to their ego. And the more you own, emotionally, mentally, even materially, the more you have to lose. And fear of loss is the leash society uses to make men obedient. But when you let go of needing to be understood, liked, praised, admired, you become untouchable. That doesn't mean you don't work hard, or build wealth, or protect what's yours. It means your identity is not for sale. Your peace is not up for negotiation. Your self-worth does not rise and fall with applause. Ask yourself, who owns your mind right now? Your boss, your girlfriend, your past, that voice in your head that keeps saying you're not enough. Ownership begins when you let go. Let go of the idea that everything must go your way. Let go of the false belief that your value depends on how others treat you. Let go of needing to be right all the time. Let go of the fear of silence, the fear of not being somebody, the fear of being alone. In 1804, Napoleon crowned himself emperor. He didn't want the Pope to place the crown on his head. He wanted the world to know he crowned himself. He needed to be seen, to be praised, to be worshipped. By 1815, he was exiled to a remote island. His glory vanished, his empire dissolved, because when you build your worth on what you own, you're always one loss away from ruin. Compare that to Epictetus, a man born a slave, crippled, beaten, humiliated. But he became one of the most respected philosophers in history. Why? Because he understood one thing: no man is free who is not master of himself. You don't need to renounce all things, but you must stop being owned by them. Start small. Stop reacting when someone insults you. Stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Stop arguing online like your life depends on it. Learn to walk away. Learn to observe without absorbing. Learn to live with nothing and fear nothing. That's how you become dangerous. Not because you're reckless, but because you can't be bribed by comfort or manipulated by fear. They can take the job, the car, the status, but they can't take your clarity, your discipline, your ability to rebuild from nothing. That's the man you're becoming. And here's the paradox. Once you stop clinging, you gain everything worth having. Peace, strength, real brotherhood, a mission that outlives you. You walk into every room with quiet confidence because you know no matter what happens, you cannot be broken. You are not your failures. You are not your image. You are not your possessions. You are the man behind all of it. When that man is unshakable, no trigger, no insult, no loss can touch him. Let the world spin. You stay grounded. Let them chase. You remain still. Because when you own nothing, no one can take anything from you. Comment below. Power begins when you let go. Chapter 3. People will test you. Don't let them own you. Every strong man gets tested. The moment you develop discipline, someone will try to provoke you. The moment you start walking with peace, someone will try to disturb you. It's human nature, because when a man rises above chaos, he becomes a mirror. And most people can't stand what they see in it. They want to drag you back into their emotional storm. Why? Because if you don't react, you reveal their weakness. If you don't explode, they look foolish, and their ego can't take that. So they test you not to learn your strength, but to break it. And this is where most men fall, not in moments of crisis, but in the small, stupid daily games that steal your power. The disrespectful tone from a coworker, the sarcasm from a partner, the driver who cuts you off. the online comment meant to bait you. You feel the fire rise in your chest. You want to say something, prove something, but here's the truth. Every reaction is a form of submission. The moment you lose your temper, they win. The moment you defend your worth, you've already questioned it. Let that sink in. Julius Caesar, before becoming dictator of Rome, was kidnapped by pirates. They mocked him, laughed at him, demanded ransom. Do you know what he did? He stayed calm. He joked with them. He told them they didn't charge enough for someone as important as him. When he was released, he raised a fleet, hunted them down, and crucified every one of them. Power doesn't scream. Power doesn't flinch. Power observes, calculates, and responds on its own time. But in the modern world, men are taught that instant reaction equals strength. It doesn't. Instant reaction is weakness. Let them disrespect you. Let them think they got under your skin. Stay calm. Stay grounded. Because when you don't react, you force them to face the discomfort of their own immaturity. Silence is the loudest answer. This doesn't mean you become passive. It means you become selective, strategic. A man who only moves when it matters, and when he moves, the whole room notices. There's a true story about a samurai named Sukahara Bokuden. A brash young warrior once challenged him to a duel. Bokuden smiled and said, "I practice the art of fighting without fighting." The young warrior laughed. "Coward," he said. Bokuden offered to take a boat to a nearby island for their duel. The young man jumped in first. Bokuden pushed the boat away, left him stranded, and walked off. No violence, no battle, but the lesson was clear. The real warrior wins without drawing his sword. That's the level you must train for, the level where no insult pulls you out of your frame, where you don't respond to disrespect, you outgrow it. When someone tests you, don't prove you're strong. Know you're strong. Don't escalate. Don't shrink. Just remain. People will try to bait you, intentionally or not. Some do it because they're broken. Some do it because they want attention. Some do it because they think it makes them powerful. Let them. The storm only bothers a man who isn't rooted. The insult only lands when you have something left to prove. You don't owe anyone a reaction. That's your power. And if you slip up, and you will sometimes, take a breath. Learn from it. Don't shame yourself. Just get sharper. Because being untriggered isn't about being perfect. It's about being trained. And training means repetition, humility, self-awareness. It means choosing not to be ruled by the games of smaller men. In the end, every test is a chance to refine your frame. Every provocation is a chance to deepen your control. Let them test you. You don't move. That's power. Comment below. Control is the real flex. Chapter 4. Emotional mastery is a man's superpower. In every generation, a man rises who doesn't flinch when insulted, doesn't fold under pressure, doesn't beg to be loved, feared, or liked. That man is rare. Not because he's stronger, but because he's mastered the one thing most men ignore, his emotions. Emotional mastery isn't about being numb. It's about knowing exactly how you feel and not letting it run your life. Modern men have been sold two lies. Lie number 1, real men don't feel. Lie number 2, real men should share every emotion with everyone. Both are weak. A true man knows what he feels, why he feels it, and what to do with it. When he's angry, he investigates the source, not lashes out. When he's sad, he sits with it, not drowns it in distractions. When he's afraid, he moves forward anyway, not hides behind a mask. That's emotional alchemy, turning raw emotion into clarity, direction, and fire. Think of Theodore Roosevelt. His wife and mother died on the same day. His heart shattered. He wrote a giant black X in his journal and said, "The light has gone out of my life." But he didn't self-destruct. He didn't crumble. He went to the wilderness. He trained. He healed. And he returned stronger than ever, eventually becoming one of the greatest US presidents in history. Because pain, when processed with discipline, becomes power. Now contrast that with most men today. One breakup, they spiral. One insult, they lose it. One failure, they doubt their entire existence. That's not strength. That's emotional slavery. If you want to be untouchable, unshakable, you must stop outsourcing your emotional life to the world. Don't wait for someone to validate you. Don't expect others to understand you. Don't give anyone the power to decide how you feel. Own your triggers, own your doubts, own your story. That's what makes you dangerous, not reckless, not numb, but clear. The man who can sit in discomfort without trying to escape it. The man who can be insulted and still smile. The man who feels deeply but acts with purpose. That man can walk through fire untouched. And this isn't just philosophy, this is biology. When your emotions rule you, your brain goes primal, fight, flight, or freeze. Logic disappears, reaction takes over. But when you slow your breath, when you speak to yourself with clarity, when you train your nervous system to stay calm in chaos, you unlock full control. Navy SEALs use box breathing under fire to keep their focus. Elite martial artists train in stillness to sharpen awareness. Ancient Stoics wrote daily reflections to master their thoughts before battle. All of them knew the truth. You can't control life, but you can control your response, and that's all you need. Emotional mastery is a man's secret weapon, not just for relationships, but for leadership, fatherhood, war, business, and survival. Because the man who masters his emotions doesn't burn bridges when he's angry, he builds them. He doesn't chase when he's desperate. He sits in the storm until the way is clear. He doesn't get baited by small minds. He outgrows them in silence. That's a man who wins. That's a man who walks into any room with calm, heavy presence. That's a man who doesn't need to prove anything because his silence says everything. Make no mistake, this path is hard. You'll slip. You'll get tested. You'll want to react. But every time you pause, every time you stay grounded, you build the kind of strength no one can shake. And that's what this world desperately needs. Not more loud men, not more emotional chaos, but calm, powerful, grounded men who lead by example. The kind of man who says, I felt the fire, but I didn't burn the village. I used it to light the way. Comment below. Feel deeply, move with discipline. If you've made it this far, you're not like most men. Most men are too distracted to go deep, too fragile to face their own triggers, too prideful to admit they're not truly in control. But not you. You came here for something more than motivation. You came here for transformation. And now you know the truth. No one can trigger you once you understand yourself. Once you master your emotions, the world can't use them against you. Once you let go of needing control, you become unshakable. Once you stop reacting and start responding, you become the man people quietly respect and never forget. So here's your mission going forward. Pause before you speak. Observe before you act. Understand before you judge. Master your state before you step into the world. Remember this, power isn't loud, it's calm, it's collected, it's consistent. The man who wins long-term isn't the man who dominates every room. He's the man who doesn't need to. So when they test you, when life hits you, when emotions rise, smile. You trained for this. You don't need to run. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to be liked, followed, or validated. Just remain. Because in the end, the calmest man in the room is the most dangerous one. And the most powerful man, but is the one no one can trigger. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, like share and subscribe for more real content for men like you. Drop a comment with the prompt from the chapter that hit you the hardest. And remember, you don't become untriggerable overnight. You become untriggerable on purpose every single day.